How's it going, everybody? Phil Visu here at E3 2018, and I am joined by Paul, and we're going to be discussing Underworld Ascendant. Now, tell me a little bit more about this game.
Well, Underworld Ascendant is bringing back a classic franchise that some of us created back in the early 90s, a game called Ultima Underworld and Ultima Underworld 2. You play the Avatar, you come from Earth, and you get transported to this fantasy world, the Stygian Abyss, which is this dark, brooding underworld, underground. And what's really unique about it is that it's an immersive simulation. That's the kind of games we've created. It's what we're known for. The original Underworld games, System Shock games, Deus Ex. It's kind of like a sandbox game where we really encourage you to experiment, explore, try things out, and figure out all kinds of crazy ways to get past challenges, traps, monsters. That's the kind of game it is.
Well, you know what? That sounds amazing. And you mentioned the part about, challenges, right? There's no right or wrong answer. But what was like the thought process behind how you fight and approach tests?
Well, the whole game is in first person because we want to have deep immersion.
Right.
It's you're there, you're in this fantasy dungeon. It's a very fluid, physics-driven combat system. You can maneuver around, you can use height advantages. A lot of the fighter skills you can develop if you want to become really capable as a fighter are kind of more like swashbuckling skills.
Okay.
You can do sliding moves, you can do wall run moves, almost like parkour kind of stuff to give you an advantage in combat. But you're not just a fighter. You can develop magic skills, so there's a whole array of spells you can cast. You can also use stealth to your advantage, and you can mix and match all these things together.
That's really cool. And again, that's like one of those things that you can already tell makes this game kind of a gem, right? Really special. The characters, can you tell me anything like specific about them without maybe like spoiling or going into too much depth?
Well, we're not yet ready to reveal sort of
Sure.
more of the depth there, but we're picking elements that we really loved in the original ones and carrying those forward. So you'll meet a couple of the characters from the original series and then a bunch of new characters. But all these characters that you meet with, they're all basically trying to figure out how to survive in this deadly Stygian Abyss.
Sure.
And the Abyss is set in a volcano, so that factors in a big way too. So you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I was actually discussing a little bit before we came on camera was I thought the art was really eye-catching. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, actually, we're pretty happy with how it came out. We wanted a real distinctive style. It was partly inspired by classic pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons and like the miniatures people,
Sure.
Used to paint up or still do. It's a little more abstracted than a realistic look. We didn't want to go realistic, but it has its own style and its own look. And I think it came out pretty good.